Please help me.
I'll try.
Thomas Klähn is a social worker who works with refugees in Frankfurt, Oder. For a while, the city, which is not far from Berlin, was considered a successful example of integration. But then a group of refugees attacked the Frosch nightclub.
They only got to this point. We didn't let them get in, but they kept smashing the windows.
Since the Frosch incident, it has gotten tougher, definitely.
Hallo, Moafak. Hallo, Thomas. Kifak.
Helping refugees is more than a job for Thomas Klähn. He has become friends with many of them, considering them almost like family.
Thomas is a good man. He's very kind and very...
Flatterer.
Klähn is there if the refugees need help understanding German bureaucracy, language, or culture.
They don't know certain rules, they don't know certain cultural mechanisms. But you can't just say simsalabim and poof, you know. You know what simsalabim means?
Please, dear God?
No, simsalabim is what you say to get magic to happen. Abracadabra, exactly.
For many, Thomas Klähn is the only person of trust in a city that's become more hostile to refugees, though this was not always the case. Since reunification, many locals have left the city, especially young people who have moved to Berlin, which is not so far away but much more vibrant. So the authorities saw what some called the refugee crisis of 2015 as an opportunity to repopulate the city. Refugees received a warm welcome and started to make the city their home.
Since the Frosch incident, fewer refugees can be seen out and about in the city, and those who still go out feel less at ease than they used to.
One night in August 2018 was enough to change the atmosphere completely. This is when a group of refugees attacked the Frosch nightclub unexpectedly.
It just came out of nowhere. They only got to this point, we didn't let them in. But then they started smashing the door and windows. And eventually, they managed to destroy them. We all stayed in this spot here and just made sure they didn't enter the club, while avoiding being stabbed by them through the window. They really targeted us.
The incident was triggered by an altercation between a German man and a Syrian man over a young woman. As the conflict escalated, the Syrian called on his friends for help. A group of 10 to 15 men who turned up with knives and iron rods, attacking anyone in their path. The manager was able to bring most of the clubbers to safety, but 2 ended up in hospital. A miracle it wasn't more.
Here in Germany, the AfD has developed recently with a swing to the right. There's so much animosity. But we do not agree with this animosity in our approach, neither as individuals or as a nightclub. We're hanging on to what we have in common.
And here's Ephraim, right on cue. When Ephraim calls me, he usually has a phone issue. Hi, Ephraim. How are you? How's your phone doing?
The Frosch attack threatens to overturn everything he has done in the past few years to make his hometown open to everyone.
Frankfurt is just the right size. It's lost a few inhabitants, but it's getting a bit better now.
Thomas always wanted to work with people, but he had to put his dream aside for a while.
I actually wanted to become a kindergarten teacher. That was in 7th grade, and my mother said to me, "Listen, there is exactly one male kindergarten teacher in the whole of East Germany, and I guarantee you're not going to be the second one."
Instead, he ended up working in IT for 15 years before being offered a job as a social worker.
I thought about it for 20 minutes, went to the interview and straight to my old boss to resign. He asked, effective when? And I said, effective immedately. So I was out of IT and into social work within a week. Money didn't matter much to me. I just wanted to do this job, and if that meant 1,000 euros a month less, then so be it. Working with or for machines was too far away from what actually really matters to me.
On the other hand, he doesn't have much free time these days.
Well, before the refugees came, I used to go fishing, but now there's no time.
Keine Zeit.
The best part about my job is that I'm passionate about everything, every single day. No matter what the issue, it gets me going, in a positive sense.
But the Frosch incident put a dent in his attitude. The whole city was in shock. Frankfurt had just voted in a new mayor, a candidate put forward by the Greens and the Left Party. The city presented itself proudly as open and welcoming. When the new mayor, René Wilke, decided to take radical action and deport the attackers, he caused a stir both in his own Left Party and the city as a whole.
When I first heard about René Wilke's plan, I was really angry and sad. I never would have thought that he would even consider doing something like that, let alone actually do it.
But the mayor says that he wanted to avoid the incident being instrumentalized by the far right.
The uncertainty among the population was simply enormous, and I wanted to make sure that everything was done by the book. Today, we know that in 3 cases, the sentences are so harsh that they are likely to be deported. Some of these people have had so many second chances. This is more like their 15th chance.
One of the attackers, many of whom were known to the police already, disagrees, putting down his involvement to the fact that it's difficult for refugees to find their feet in Germany.
If I had really gotten a chance, a real chance, then maybe things would have gone differently.
Mohammed Hag Mustafa is from Syria. He was detained for some time after the attack and is awaiting trial. He's also become a father.
Right now, all I know is work, home, family, building something for the future.
Are you going back to the Frosch Club?
I don't think so. I never got a fair chance. If, say, a German goes and does something bad to me, am I supposed to think all Germans are bad, so they all have to pay for it? No. Why do others have to suffer if they didn't do anything wrong? That's the big problem here.
This is how some of the other refugees also see the situation. They say life has become more difficult since the attack.
Now many Germans think all Syrians are the same, they only cause trouble, and so on. Everybody looks at us asking, you mean nothing but problems. Why do you want to destroy our country?
Recently on the bus, the driver came up to us, just telling us to get off. 2 of our friends, girls who were German, then told the driver they didn't do anything and they're not going to get off.
But many also blame the attackers for the upsurge in tension.
I believe 7 of the Frosch attackers are now in jail. What do you think would be the best way to help them?
Keep them in jail.
Keep them in jail?
That's evil.
It's the best solution.
Thomas's job has also become harder.
I try to meet refugees any chance I get, in the places where they hang out. But that's one of the effects of the Frosch incident. Yes, the town might seem safer now to some, but it's also way harder for me to find people.
So why are so many refugees staying home now?
They were constantly asked for their papers because of their skin color. This was true for Africans, who got checked all the time, and Arabs, who were always being stopped over petty stuff. Humans are affected by such discriminatory treatment when they realize they're being treated differently. And I definitely believe that the situation has got worse in Frankfurt.
The Frosch nightclub has clung on, but the spirit has changed.
In the end, Frosch is a company. People stayed away for months after that incident. Why should we, ordinary people, have to deal with such problems? How can people who we welcomed with open arms turn around and hurt us so badly? That's why I totally understand and support René Wilke's policy of saying, enough, only this far, but no more.
But the mayor himself is struggling.
Some measures are available to me, others are not. I would like to have trauma centers, so we could understand that people came here having lived through stuff that we can't even imagine. We could then take care of them, give them therapy sessions. There could be educational measures and social work to help them. But I don't have the means for that.
René Wilke solved a problem, but he did not remove the root cause.
You don't have to be afraid of me. I'm not a monster. I just want to live in peace.
Frankfurt is capable of becoming open and friendly. However, people first have to get rid of their own insecurities, which haunt many of them but have nothing to do with the refugees.
Will the city and its inhabitants manage?
I hope so.